Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Peace, love, and positivity to you. My name is Sohum, and today I have the distinct pleasure of reacting to more from the legendary Jackson Browne. We've got 3 songs, all requested by Roger, so thank you very much, Roger, for the request and your generous support, and really bringing another amazing artist back to the channel, Jackson Browne. He is so elite at what he does, which is write songs that hook you in, not only melodically, not only rhythmically, always emotionally. A lot of his songs are going to touch on extremely personal themes, whether we can relate to them or they're stories from his life. And in addition, he'll also sing about society. He is such a well-rounded musician, composer, songwriter. He does everything so expertly, and one of my favorite things about Jackson is his ability to make every single instrument in the arrangement count. It feels like with anything he'll add, it's never redundant. It always has its part to play. It will always at some point take the spotlight within the song. And I don't know, I feel like there's always something for everybody when it comes to any Jackson Browne song. So I think there's a lot of great stuff to look forward to today. We're going to start with the song For a Dancer. And Roger actually let me know some, I think, important context for all of these songs. So before we jump into the first track here, For a Dancer, I wanted to read a little bit of what he wrote. Roger said, For a Dancer was written for a personal friend of Browne's, a so-called Renaissance man who was a modern dancer, an ice skater, and a skilled tailor who tragically passed away in a house fire. The song does for me what JB does best, that is provide a stunning lyrical and musical context for any topic. My wife of 52 years finds this song a bit too dark for her to say it is a favorite. I hope you or your viewers don't share her opinion. I think the final verses are hopeful and very human. Yeah, I am very intrigued by what you wrote there. So let's jump into this one. It's going to be potentially more of a serious one with the subject matter of his loss, but we'll see where we go.
Keep a fire burning in your eye, and pay attention to the open sky. You never know what will be coming down. I don't remember track of you. You were always dancing in and out of view.
That motif is getting used all over.
I must have thought you'd always be around.
Be around. That was a cool use in the middle of the phrase.
Always keeping things real by playing the clown.
Oh my god.
Now you're nowhere to be found.
Dude, this melody is so beautiful already. So we've got piano, voice, and drums and bass now.
I don't know what happens when people die. I can't seem to grasp it as hard as I try. It's like a song I can hear playing right in my ear, and I can't sing. I can't help listening, and I can't help feeling stupid standing round. Crying as they ease you down, 'cause I know that you'd rather we were dancing.
Dude, I am
dancing our sorrow away.
I'm really loving this already.
Right on, dance. No matter what fate chooses, you can just do the steps that you've been shown.
Dude, explosion out of nowhere. We have to run that sequence back. Listen to the building here. What happened with the piano and voice? What gets added? Okay. The choir and strings right there.
No matter what
It's forward and loud.
just do the steps that you've been shown by everyone you've ever known.
This is everything, dude. It is already so rich.
Until the dance becomes your very own. No matter how close to yours, another steps have grown.
I love these lyrics.
There is one dance you'll do alone.
I don't know if I mentioned it, but for all of these songs, I'm going to be lyrically analyzing them. Hopefully, we'll come away with some better understanding here. Because this is already so fruitful. Violin solo into this bass melody, dude. How beautiful.
Keep a fire for the human race. Let your prayers go drifting into space. You never know what will be coming down.
It's such a cool rhythm in that
Perhaps
section.
a better world is drawing near. Just as easily it could all disappear.
True.
Along with whatever meaning you might have found.
Wow. You tried to make sense of this world.
Don't let the uncertainty turn you around. The world keeps turning around. Go on and make a joyful sound. Into a dancer you have grown. From a seed somebody else has thrown. Go on ahead and throw some seeds of your own. And somewhere between
Continue the bloodline, man.
and the time you go may lie a reason you were alive that you'll never know.
Wow, dude, it's a perfect song. From top to bottom, every melody, every lyric, every instrument, all of the mixing. Oh, and what an emotionally rich song too. Like, this is what I mean when I say Jackson Browne has everything in a single track. Like, I feel like he would be a very good example of an artist who you could just listen to one song and not need additional songs to like make the context of the song you're listening to make sense. In other words, it's very self-contained. Like, I feel perfectly satiated after eating that song. To use a different example, if you're at all a movie watcher, you'll know that lately a lot of movies are made as a part one with the intention of a part two, because instead of just making a good movie that can stand on its own two legs, the marketing teams are like, hey, can't we extract more money from the consumer and make this a part two? And they titillate you just enough in the first movie, and the second movie is where they give you way more of the meat. It's all rather annoying, but sometimes in art it does serve its purpose too. I'm not going to just like make a blanket statement and say it's always problematic, but I can always appreciate when an artist creates a self-contained version of that art for me to, opine over and try to understand. And, there's always going to be external context that provides value for just music in general. But that's why I say I feel like these songs are so cohesive. They are so complete. You just come away feeling so satisfied. I am very eager to do this lyrical analysis. So if you guys remember, the context was that this man is a Renaissance man and tragically lost his life in a house fire. Keep a fire burning in your eye. Pay attention to the open sky. You never know what will be coming down. So using the fire as the example for his eye, the passion for life. you need to have that mentality that tomorrow is not promised, because it isn't. Every single day that you exist is the best day of your life if you allow it to be. You can be as present as you want today, right now. As you're watching this YouTube video, you could lock into true presence and be passionate about the world at every stage of life, at every career path, at every little moment. There's always something to be inspired by, to be interested by, to be at peace with. I think we owe it to ourselves to kind of experience all of what life has to offer. But I don't remember losing track of you. You're always dancing in and out of view. I must have thought you'd always be around, and always keeping things real by playing the clown. It's like, hey, we had this beautiful relationship, and sometimes like we would be, let's say more frequently corresponding. Other times we wouldn't. You'd be dancing in and out of my life. But I always thought like I'd have access to you. We'd always have this ongoing relationship, and life happened. Unfortunate, tragic passing happened, and now you don't have the same opportunity to connect like you once did. So it's like you kind of take it for granted in the moment, and then you realize all too late what you actually had. You know what I mean? Now you're nowhere to be found. I don't know what happens when people die. I can't seem to grasp it as hard as I try. It's like a song I can hear playing right in my ear, but I can't sing. I can't help listening. It's like I am trying to figure out this mortality thing. Is there an afterlife? What's to come after this whole experience? I don't know. You could literally think about this endlessly, and I don't think you'd ever arrive at an answer that we would, as humans, know for real. I think it's far beyond our pay grades. And so just because we don't have a logical label for it or ability to fully comprehend this amorphous structure that is death, doesn't mean we don't feel like something is there. There's something to be understood. There's a certain mythos about it that it's like almost like a deja vu. Like, have I been here before? It's right on the tip of my tongue, but I don't have the words. Like, if you ever read that book, it's that book they'll have you read in like geometry classes in like junior high, learning about the different dimensions. And the people living in the 2-dimensional plane, they're interacting for the first time with a 3-dimensional object, but they're having trouble understanding what depth is. And the 3D object is trying to explain, but in the 2D world, that perspective is just not possible. We just have no intuition as to what that z-axis looks like. So, when it comes to like a lot of these huge questions, we just may not have the tools at all to comprehend what's going on there. We can do our best. I'm not saying anything final, but it is difficult. And I can't help feeling stupid standing round crying is they ease you down. Because I know that you'd rather we were dancing our sorrow away. So here it's like, hey, I know you wouldn't want me moping around. Dancing is your love language, is what brought you excitement into this world. And so dancing our sorrows away is probably the best way to commemorate his friend's memory. No matter what fate chooses to play, there's nothing you can do about it anyway. Yeah, we are, as much as we'd like to have like agency in our life, it almost feels like sometimes things are just perpetually out of our control. So just do the steps that you've been shown by everyone you've ever known until the dance becomes your very own. You kind of mimic at first, then you learn it, then you learn how to kind of extend your personality through that modality. No matter how close to yours, another's steps have grown. In the end, there's one dance you'll do alone. So like, even though you're doing this dance and you find a partner in life, let's say to do this dance with, and you feel so in sync with this person, at the very end of it all, you will always be by yourself. And that's why I say, like, the most important relationship that you have is the one that you have with yourself, because that relationship propagates for every other relationship you could ever hope to have with anybody else. It starts here. So keep a fire for the human race. Let your prayers go drifting into space. You never know what will be coming down. Yeah, like, let's now not only hope the best for the individual and do the most for ourselves, let's extrapolate that societally and have the loftiest dreams possible, because if we can think it, we can probably actually manifest that reality for real if we stop endlessly bickering. But, who am I? Perhaps a better world is drawing near. Just as easily it could all disappear, along with whatever meaning you might have found. It's like, as much as we put in all this effort, there's also that slim but real chance, non-zero chance, that this whole world vanishes in the blink of an eye. And, what would meaning matter then? Don't let the uncertainty turn you around. The world keeps turning round and round. Go on and make a joyful sound. It's like, despite us not knowing the answers to these questions, whether or not the fact that we don't know if our presence is permanent and our effects will be eternal, whether or not that changes the way we ought to operate on this earth, we're uncertain either way. And so let's do the fun things. Let's do the things that bring us together. Actually internalize the emotions that we have grown, that we've grown through evolution. And I don't know, it almost like grounds the entire argument. Like, hey, because we don't know all of the crazy answers that we could possibly know, that doesn't mean we have to be miserable with our time here on this planet. We can make the most of it. Go and make a joyful sound into a dancer you have grown from a seed somebody else has thrown. Go on ahead and throw some seeds of your own. Keep the bloodline going is how I take this one. Like, you became a beautiful person because somebody else took the risk, brought you into this world, and then took the responsibility of taking care of you and giving you the best life possible. Try giving that gift yourself. And somewhere between the time you arrive and the time you go may lie a reason you were alive, but you'll never know. I love this statement at the end here. I love that it's still urging everyone to try to figure out why you are here, why you are. And in the end, you may never know when that realization happens. If it does happen in the way you expect it to or not, let's just try things. Let's figure it out. And the point is, in this life thing is all of this baked in uncertainty. To me, that doesn't, like, and we were talking about earlier, Roger, the potential like melancholy in the ending of this song, or is it more uplifting? I think because it is very candid about viewing life in this really like realistic way, but also when it's realistic, it's uncertain. That doesn't necessarily mean it is optimistic or pessimistic. It more is a realistic view of what life is, and life is a very confusing beast. But the affirming statement throughout the song becomes, but let's make a good life here regardless, and let's commemorate the memories of those who've come before and helped bring us to the point that we're at. We can be respectful, we can honor our ancestry and keep this world spinning. So to me, it is a practical and optimistic view that can be, I think, conflated with a negative one, or one that feels a little bit more dreary. And it really depends on one's philosophy on like the existential threat of humanity not existing anymore. And if we don't exist anymore, does that negate all of the efforts we've made now to be good people, let's say? I don't think so. I think if you even, let's say, apply this logic to love, you love somebody as hard as you possibly can, and you won't have a single regret, right? You put all of your effort forward. What could you possibly regret? what you regret is what you don't do. It's the effort you could have put in that you think about, like, oh, I could have mended this relationship, but I chose not to because of my own ego. I don't know. There's like a sort of, there's this like latent construct that I'm having trouble naming here that kind of touches on all that I'm discussing right now, but I think there's so much meaning to life regardless of how long it persists in the future. There is a point to this. Maybe we don't understand it, and that's probably okay as well. Sometimes it's okay to not know. Beautiful first song, man. 20 minutes deep. I know I'd be yapping. Let's jump into the next one here. Before the Deluge. Apparently this song is about hopeful idealism, environmental destruction, and societal decay.
Some of them were dreamers, some of them were fools, who were making plans and thinking of the future.
Who is them?
With the energy of the innocent, they were gathering the tools they would need to make their journey back to nature.
Back to nature. This is like, these people are trying to return to like more of a primitive state. I think I'm taking this too literally. Let's see where we go.
Their journey back to nature.
Dreamers, fools, like a hopeful community.
While the sand slipped through the opening and their hands reached for the golden ring, with their hearts they turned to each other's
Oh, I love the harmony.
hearts for refuge.
The harmony is amazing.
In the troubled years that came before the deluge, some of them knew pleasure, some of them knew pain, and for some of them it was only the moment that mattered. And on the brave and crazy wings of youth, they went flying around in the rain, and their feathers, once so fine, grew torn and tattered. And in the end they traded their tired wings for the resignation that living brings, and exchanged love's bright and fragile glow for the glitter and the rouge. And in a moment they were swept before the deluge. Now let the music keep our spirits high. Let the
I'm so impressed by how good this sounds. It's weird because when I listen to this, like at a high level, I'm like, oh my God, this is like somehow a very simple melody, a simple progression, but the details of the instruments are so accounted for. They're so measured. Like, I truly believe like Jackson is really like masterfully choosing each and every single pitch, every single styling for each instrument at every single moment. It is like everything is accounted for. I don't know how that is possible, frankly. There's not one element that I would change about what I'm hearing here. That is the true magic of Jackson.
Let the music keep our spirits high. Let the buildings keep our children dry. creation reveal its secrets by and by.
I really like his lyrics.
By and by.
They're very human lyrics.
When the light that's lost within us reaches the sky. Some of them were angry at the way the earth was abused by the man who learned how to forge her beauty into power.
Wow, and then
They
I'm
struggled
getting chills.
to protect her from
So
them,
much going on.
only to be confused by the magnitude of her fury in the final hour. And when the sand was gone and the time arrived, in the naked dawn only a few survived. And in an attempt to understand a thing so simple and so huge, believed that they were meant to live after the deluge. Let the music keep our spirits high.
You know everybody's singing along to that right there with the choir, with all the
Buildings
voices.
keep our children dry. Let creation reveal its secrets by and by.
It's so sing-alongable. Da-da-da. He loves that triplet.
When the light that's lost within us reaches the sky.
Oh. How fruitful have the organ and violin been in this listen? Or is that the fiddle? Never a dull moment. Never a dull moment. Oh yeah. I really like the melody in this song. It's very hopeful feeling. Like even if I didn't have the lyrics here, I would feel like that sense of hopefulness. Though there is that like tension between like progress and almost like being too progressive to the point where like you cannot keep up with your own progress. But I just want to unpack these lyrics here because like as I was listening, I felt like in the beginning I understood, then I stopped understanding, and then I came right back into understanding. And this is something I'll talk just broadly about Jackson Browne, then jump into these lyrics. But it's weird, like when I listen to Jackson Browne, even if I am not like logically thinking about all of the lyrics, somehow, some way, the meaning finds itself within me. And it's like the words that Jackson Browne uses, his lyric writing, sort of unlock those places that I already have within me. Do you understand what I mean? Like, instead of him crafting a new idea from scratch and me being like him presenting it to me, and I'm like, oh, I've never heard of that before. It's more like he is giving us so many nuggets of wisdom that exist within all of us, and he's just kind of unlocking that door. It's weird, but like I feel far more introspective when I listen to Jackson Browne than I may for the average artist. As one of the just another like feather in the cap of Jackson, another one of the reasons to listen to him. He is just so very in touch with the lessons of life. It definitely shows, and the music is just so fun. Like, how can you deny any Jackson Browne, man? I don't know if there are Jackson Browne haters out there, but they are objectively incorrect. Let's jump into these lyrics. Some of them were dreamers, some of them were fools who were making plans and thinking of the future. To me, I take this as a sort of cohort. This is them. It is like a generation of person, a certain archetype of individual who all are dreamers, who may be a little bit exuberant in their approach, but that's oftentimes what progressives are. To move the needle in any meaningful way in this world, you really have to push far past the norms of what people are comfortable with, because to make change, you have to embrace discomfort and, also take on some level of risk. So some of them were fools who were making the plans and thinking of the future. It's all about making this world a better place. With the energy of the innocent, they were gathering the tools they would need to make their journey back to nature. So the energy of the innocent I kind of take as like the sophomoric, kind of view of life. And, you don't have all of the experience and information yet, but you are going into this like doe-eyed with full effort. And, you can't deny passion. Passion needs to be, I think more people need to be passionate about things in general, by the way, but passion is a major driver for change. So that's why they've got it. While the slide, they would need to make their journey back to nature, while the sand slipped through the opening and their hands reached for the golden ring. When their hearts, they turned to each other's hearts for refuge. I don't know what the golden ring is about here, but they're relying on each other for support. In the troubled years that came before the deluge, some of them knew pleasure, some of them knew pain. So it's interesting describing these progressive years as troubled years. Is it, I don't know if it's an implication on they are troubled to have the idea to progress society, or if it's like about the problems are occurring in those years and the progressives are ideating as to how to address those problems. And so the years that you have to struggle to figure out those problems are the troubled years. I feel like it's more of the latter, though I'm not sure. Some of them knew pleasure before some of them knew pain, and for some of them, it was only the moment that mattered. Okay, so some people were just like living in the moment. Is it? Hold on, let me look at. I remember you wrote something, Roger, about Before the Deluge. This is a melancholic yet hopeful song about the loss of 1960s idealism, environmental destruction, and societal decay. Okay, I feel like if I had not glossed over the 1960s part, I would have had way more insight as to how these lyrics are being applied. The generation in question is that loving generation, the 60s hippies, right? A lot of them are moving the needle in terms of what's culturally accepted, trying to be as in tune with the earth and their emotions and understanding of those things as possible. And, maybe it's an overcorrection from something else or an undercorrection, depends on your perspective on that. But that is the context of the them. I see. And on the brave and crazy wings of youth, they went flying around in the rain, and their feathers once so fine grew torn and tattered. All the dancing, the mud parties, and craziness. And in the end, they traded their tired wings for the resignation that living brings, and exchanged love's bright and fragile glow for the glitter and the rouge. And in the moment, they were swept before the deluge. So this is like a pivot point, kind of like the switch in mindset of like this openness, this free lovingness, and all of those loving emotions, all of that spurt of growth is now getting sort of stunted by life happening. And now we have to find a way to put food on the table. And, we can't deny the realities of life, but also the thing is we have sort of altogether constructed the world that we live in. And if we don't like it, does that mean we still have to keep playing it to keep it going? Like at some point you want to break away from the mold to actually create a better environment for all of us. But if you kind of resolve yourself to, we're not going to be able to make this change, and give up on that fire, then, the status quo is going to be the status quo. So it takes a lot of that youthful energy to get things going, and a lot more energy, you could say, to keep that flame fanned. And in a moment they were swept before the deluge. Now let the music keep our spirits high, let the buildings keep our children dry, let creation reveal its secrets by and by, by and by. So to me, these 3 lines here are what's sustaining that youthful energy. Keep listening to the music, keep that momentum going, and now that our children have those roofs over their head, they have a stable ground to make even more progress off of. If you think of what is meant to happen when you think of generation after generation, all of the struggles of the previous generation should be noticed and rectified so that the future generation don't struggle as much. But as technologies change and we have to evolve, the future generation are going to introduce their new set of issues. And so the pendulum may continue swinging back and forth, but we are always sort of regressing to this societal trend line. And depending on the direction of that line, we are either moving closer towards a progressed society or closer towards something that is more medieval, you could say. And my hope is that with all of our collective intellect, we can bring our world to that brighter future. But it requires all of us in the current generation to shake hands with those who are younger and to shake hands with those who are older. We need to actually treat this as a game of us all being in it together, and not of, of continued atomization. When the light that's lost within us reaches the sky, some of them were angry. When the light that's lost within us reaches the sky. At the way that the earth was abused by the men who learned how to forge her beauty into power. So those who are, taking advantage of the environment and making boatloads of money, but also at the cost of the environment, right? They struggled to protect her from them, only to be confused by the magnitude of her fury in the final hour. You used and abused the earth for so long, and now you're the one who's confused by how it decides to retaliate. If our ozone is completely gone, humans are done, and maybe we can send the odd few humans into space, and then we will lose all of the societal progress that we had in all of the lives that will be lost in that terrible reality. Instead of being confused and not and I'm getting animated here. Instead of acting so confused, let's just confront the reality of our actions have consequences, and despite us having complicated lives and many trade-offs to be made, we cannot afford to destroy our home, And that logic is not just about the environment, it is about our literal home, your mind, your temple, your family, your friends, your home. Anything that is you is everything else. Anything that is everything else is you. You keep that safe. And when the sand was gone and the time arrived, so the hourglass, the sand finally reaching the bottom, in the naked dawn only a few survived, and in attempts to understand a thing so simple and so huge, believed that they were meant to live after the deluge. It's the few who survived this apocalypse. Now let the music keep our spirits high, the buildings keep our children dry, let creation reveal its secrets by and by and by, when the light that's lost within us reaches the sky. Yeah, this is a very, very hopeful song. It's also a very realistic song, which seems to be a theme now with Jackson Browne. He keeps it 100. I like this line too here. Let creation reveal its secrets by and by. Because there's this idea that we can create knowledge that goes around. But there's also this idea that we, instead of creating knowledge, we are discovering it. And that's kind of what it feels like to me, more so than creation. We are discovering all of the secrets of this world through science, through our experiences, through our collective wisdom and communication. We begin to learn more, and we get to rely on each other. That's the value of us being social creatures, is this fabric of society we've created. It's meant to blanket us all, keep us all safe, and improve the lives of every single one of us. And I don't know, I feel like people, again, get too selfish, get too greedy, and makes it hard for us to even want to discover secrets. Instead, the focus shifts to, can I even survive in this tumultuous paradigm that we've all created? And weirdly enough, many of us won't take accountability for our part in that creation, or complicitness in the direction that it's gone. And, I have sympathy for everybody and everything, and I just wish more of us opened our eyes to the reality that we have far more impact than we think. We have one more song to check out. It's Barricades of Heaven. Roger wrote about this song, Barricades of Heaven. Browne found himself on his own at 16, running around the wealthy coastal SoCal towns. I too spent my summers in the same areas and times. While I never ran into Browne at the local 7-Eleven, I take solace in the fact that I could have. The song's title is, I think, a reference to the lights of the expensive hilltop homes of the area. Roger, I think it's really cool that you have a personal stake in this. Let's check this out. Simple progression, but you're just hooked in immediately.
No, I couldn't tell you what the hell those breaks were for. I was just trying to hear my song.
Wow. I love the melody and the guitar. Stretch of road running to LA. Pages turning, pages wheeling is from learning, straight into the night our hearts will flow. Gotta bring your own redemption. I love it, dude. I love every song.
To the barricades of heaven when I'm far.
I love every Jackson Browne song. So fun to sing along to. I imagine so fun to play.
Above and the lights below.
Those houses, I'm envisioning them now.
Among those there to test their fortunes and their wills, I lost track of the score long ago.
this one.
Childhood comes for me at night. Voices of my friends, your face bathing me
Dude,
in
the
light.
instrumentation is just brilliant.
Hope that never ends.
Wow, dude, I am in love. I seriously can't get over this. Oh yeah, whammy it up, make it weird. It's so melodically flexible, and I love how there's so much breathing room for the melody to grow here.
Pages turning, pages torn and pages burning, faded pages open in the sun. Gotta bring your redemption when you call to the barricades of heaven where I'm from. Better bring your redemption when you come to the barricades of heaven where I'm
Dude. I don't know how it's possible for every one of his songs to be a 10 out of 10. Every melody is so good. Every tempo, every style, every instrument that gets included, every lyric, every feel, every vocal delivery, every moment of panning in the mix, all of the arrangement. It is just so comprehensively good. What is going on? I don't know. I really don't know. If I were to be asked to rank these songs, it would be actually impossible for me to do it. The melody was just too good in all of these tracks. They're all so fun to unpack. Let's do the lyrics for the last one here, and then I'll outro this reaction. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this all today. Running down around the towns along the shore when I was 16 and on my own. I couldn't tell you what the hell those breaks were for. I was just trying to hear my song. So we got the setting. He's young. He is living his life, experiencing the environment, just doing what kids do, hanging around the town. Jimmy found his own sweet sound and won that free guitar. We'd all get in the van and play, sort of recounting his earlier musical years. Life became the paradox, the bear, the rouge and a noir, and the stretch of road running to LA. So I don't have the context for these. I'm using context clues here to try to parse this one out. I would imagine the paradox, the bear, and rouge et noir are either venues or artists that Jackson looked up to. Because I've never heard of any of these artists before. Like the Bear is like a TV show. That's like as much knowledge as I have of that. I would assume these are venues. And because we're talking about like LA and the overall the place, I feel like that would be the use of these ones. Then we follow it up. Pages turning, pages we were years from learning. Oh, I didn't understand that the first time around, but I think the implication of this line is life is happening, but we only learn from the experience that we went through after the fact. So it's like as you're going through it, you are just, dealing with it as it comes without necessarily having the, let's say, appropriate takeaway upon reflection. So you learn after the fact. Straight into the night, our hearts were flung. Better bring your own redemption when you come to the barricades of heaven where I'm from. The barricades of heaven. I was going to talk about the song title by itself, even just at the very beginning of this reaction, but I think it's fitting to talk about it here. The barricades of heaven. It's not gates of heaven, implying opening. Barricades implies being kept out. To the barricades of heaven where I'm from. I'm from the barricades. I'm from the sheltering from the good parts of life. And if I'm applying the external context Roger provided, then that would pretty much go hand in glove with the idea that there is this like top tier, top shelf life to be living, and I am right on the cusp of living that life. I'm not necessarily within throwing distance of it, but I can see it there, and I want that for me. All the world was shining from those hills, the stars above and the lights below. And all the world to me, if we are taking that interpretation of those like big like Hollywood houses, for example, then all the world is almost like reducing what the world is to that specific place and pedestalizing those houses, that way of living. It's interesting, because it feels like the entire, like that is like over indexing for what those homes are. But from the perspective of a child or just a young kid, that literally may feel like the right answer. Like, no, dude, they literally have everything. They live on those hills. They're so famous. They have all this money, and they must be living the best life possible. Among those there to test their fortunes and their wills, I lost track of the score long ago. So, a lot of people like in LA, they're trying to make it, right? They're testing their luck. Is it in the cards for them? And at this point, I don't know how many failures or triumphs there have been, but there have certainly been many attempts. Pages turning, pages we were years from learning, straight into the night our hearts were flung. Better bring your own redemption when you come to the barricades of heaven where I'm from. And this line here, I didn't touch on it previously. Better bring your own redemption when you come. It's like you have to have your story to make it big in this game, buddy. There's like a meme of like people in American Idol all coming to sing, but instead of the singing being the focus, it's how ludicrous can they make their sob story sound as to get the the golden ticket to Hollywood. And there's many different versions of what that looks like. Everybody has their own sob story. Everybody has their own set of struggles, and if you can monetize that, if you can make that the center of attention, then that's your foot in the door in this game. But you can ask yourself the question, is that the level you want to stoop to play this game? Like, maybe that's the case, but I don't think you have to play the game at all. I think you can just be yourself, don't put on any gimmicks, and see how the world responds. And don't necessarily tie your value to fame, let's say. You are a person who has intrinsic value just for being yourself, Childhood comes for me at night, voices of my friends. I love that that framing of childhood comes for me at night, implying that the memories of childhood are the nightmares, like the monsters that may come at me. All these memories thinking back to whence I came. Your face bathing me in light, hope that never ends. I don't know who the your is here. Pages turning, pages torn, and pages burning. Faded pages open in the sun. This is the first time the pages motif here changes a bit, because before it was turning and then we were years from learning. Now it's torn and burning. So it's like all crumbling down around me, losing memory. Even faded pages open in the sun. Better bring your own redemption when you come to the barricades of heaven where I'm from. Better bring your own redemption when you come to the barricades of heaven where I'm from. Lordy, Jackson Browne. Yeah, I really like this song too. Like, he has such a way with words, like I mentioned earlier, where he just helps you unlock certain aspects of what you already know. And even if I haven't experienced this particular situation, I can still very easily like transplant my own life and experiences on to these feelings that he's evoking within me. Like, that's just how good he is at tapping on those places within us all even if it's about himself. Man, oh man, I really don't know what my favorite song was from today. Like, all of these delivered in terms of melody, in terms of the instrumentation, in terms of the lyrics. I'm really just going to pass the question off to you. What did you think about these tracks today? What do you think about Jackson Browne in general? I know I'm a fan. I think you guys are as well, but yeah, I would love to know your thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. If you'd like to request a reaction yourself, you can always do so by using the first link in this description box below. That is the best way to support my channel. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.